and its famous road bridge in the background, the scenery for the Knockhill circuit in Fife in Scotland. Round 8 of the MGF Cup is the action that we're looking at now. And the man who's qualified on the front of the grid, last year's championship runner-up, Alistair Lyle. Lyle's had a little bit of an up-and-down season, but on top here, at least on times. In Scotland, from David Mason, second on the grid, just 38 thousandths of a second behind him. In fact, it's been a very close field all the way down. The top 15 cars covered by a single second in qualifying. Championship points leader Warren Hughes in third place on the grid, Matt Kelly in fourth in the number 42 machine, ahead of Barry Benham and Nick Carr on row 4 of the grid. Well, 25 cars making the long trip to Scotland. And camera with Warren Hughes, championship points leader, the man who's driving the car that won last year. The number 1 machine goes down the grass on the inside. He and Matt Kelly get past Alistair Lyle, but Kelly shoves him off. Down the grass he goes into the gravel trap, race over before he even got to the first corner for the Geordie. Mark Hazel showing more mayhem down at the bottom of the hill into Duffus Dip, and already 3 or 4 cars off. Brian Heary working his way through the stationary traffic and the clouds of dust, kicking up some dust himself as they plunge down through McIntyre. Under pressure in the yellow car is David Mason, number 18, qualified in second place. Matt Kelly dives down the inside, this time making the pass without contact. The other silver car there is Barry Benham, as Warren Hughes extricated himself from his car, but you can tell he is a very disappointed man. So Kelly leads from Mason, Benham in third place, Nick Carr behind him, the other yellow and orange car in fourth place, Ben Piers-Johnson in fifth. Alistair Lyle already right down the order as well, riding with Dave Loudon. Dave Loudon started well down the order, an unaccustomed 19th position for him, trying to fight his way back up. Yellow flags on the start-finish line and down into the first corner. And the marshals will be trying to sort everything out after that rather fraught first couple of turns through Duffus Dip. This Scottish parkland circuit, climbing, falling, rising and diving. More blind crests and brows than you can shake a stick at. Now, Alistair Lyle very slow away, the pale blue car. Warren Hughes on the road at this stage, trying to stay on the road and gets pushed further and further over by Matt Kelly. Hughes trying to keep the car under control, but he's got the steering on full lock. He's on the grass and he just knows there's no way to save that one. You could see the resignation there in his hands, just holding the wheel and waiting for it to stop. Kelly, as a result of that argy-bargy, out front now. David Mason in second, and Mason losing a position under braking to the 33 car of Barry Benham. There's a bit more banging and bumping, and they all lose time. Dave Loudon dropping a place to Rob Mears there, the number 8 machine going past him. Big lead now for Matt Kelly from Dave Mason. Then the 6 car of Piers-Johnson with the black nose, trailing smoke under braking. Nick Carr looking damaged there. He's got Jamie Hunter and Mark Hazel behind him. The trend at the front, certainly for silver and yellow cars, makes them harder and harder to identify for the crowd and commentators alike. And damage there at the front of the number 2 car of Alistair Lyle. That's his teammate going through, Mark Humphrey. That's Warren Hughes' teammate going through there, number 11 car of Sean King. Alistair Lyle on the racetrack, but a long way down the order as we ride with Brian Heary, challenging number 5, Dave Loudon, and Loudon loses another position. Loudon really not having a very good time here, nor is Alistair Lyle. Picks up a place there from Carl Powell, number 80. Race leader already well away though. Matt Kelly leading Barry Benham and David Mason. And making a move here, Jamie Hunter, the 26 car, past Nick Carr, number 9. 7 machinist Mark Hazel behind them. Riding again with Dave Loudon. Watch the instruments, the stack onboard telemetry, showing you the gears, the revs and the speed of the car. Right in the thick of it there, Loudon. Over the curbs comes the 11 car, that's Benham, then Mason, second and third. Hunter now in fourth place and still trailing smoke. The first of the yellow cars there, Nick Carr in fifth. Number 7 is Mark Hazel, he's in sixth place, just ahead of Mark Humphrey. Again with Dave Loudon, using all the revs and going off there on the outside. Paul O'Neill in the copper-coloured car. Now the leader starting to be reeled in a little bit. Matt Kelly dropping back as into the pits will go Barry Benham. David Mason goes past him and Benham retiring from second place. Well, that's bad news indeed for him. Qualified fifth and looked to be on target for second place there. Jamie Hunter still ahead of the tyre-smoking number 9 machine. Largely cosmetic, that it would seem. There is Jamie Hunter. He needs some cosmetic work on the front of his car as well. Again with Dave Loudon. Look how hard he's working the car, pummeling the brakes as he gets passed by Alistair Lyle. Loses a little bit of momentum there. Alistair Lyle goes past, picks up another place, trying desperately to get up into a point-scoring situation. Chasing his teammate Mark Humphrey as 16 here. Vince Martin kicking up a bit of dirt. And they are well inside the top 10. Vince Martin started 14th. Mark Humphrey started in 12th place. And they are challenging Mark Hazel. Humphrey pushing him out of the corner and up the hill from the final turn, the hairpin at Taylor's. Clearly didn't think he was going quite quickly enough. Riding with Mark Hazel then, flashing over the grid, over the top of the rise, and then heading into the braking area for the first right-left flick, Duffus dip. Alistair Lyle coming across the line behind them. Brian Heary now coming down to the end of the straight, and going down the inside of him is Henry Kangas, the 66 machine. Still bouncing over the curbs here, really flying these MGFs around the scenic Knockhill circuit. Well, there in 8th place is Sean King, Warren Hughes' teammate, and right back here in 14th place, right behind the number 15 car, is the 2 machine of Alistair Lyle. Lyle with that badly damaged front end to the car after his collision on the first lap. Fighting his way back up the order, really trying to make something of this. And big battle on the brakes going on here at the hairpin. 5 cars fishtailing their way in and out of the corner. And pretty impressive stuff. Judith Forrow Hunter and Paul O'Neill side by side there, chasing this trio. Bill Stillwell on the left of the picture as you look at it, Carl Powell in the middle, and Piers Johnson on the right hand side, the number 6 machine, recovering from his spin earlier on. And he was up in the top half dozen places at the beginning of the race, but out now goes the number 8 car, Rob Mears. We saw him passing Dave Loudon earlier on, but it looks like he's got a technical problem with his MGF. Race leader under pressure now. Matt Kelly ahead of the number 18 machine of David Mason. And Kelly has been the leader since the end of the first lap. Now looking as though he may possibly lose that lead. Riding with Brian Heary. Down the hill from Duffus Dip into the right-hander at McIntyre. Turns in, oh my goodness me. Takes too much speed in and tries to lose it, turning into the corner. Spins and drops a couple of places there. And gets back on, and little shake of the head there from him. First and second as close as you like. David Mason looking to the inside into the braking area at the end of the straight. Has his nose cut off as they go into Duffus Dip by Matt Kelly. And still the battles rage behind. Number 11 here is Sean King. He's got Alistair Lyle right behind him. And Lyle now in a top 10 finishing position. So he's having a very good recovery from that first lap incident. Third place is Jamie Hunter, man who won his first race in streaming wet conditions at Silverstone earlier on in the season. Not quite in a position to challenge like David Mason is. Into the final corner, Taylor's, and then climbing the hill up to the start-finish line. David Mason very close indeed. Jamie Hunter third, Nick Carr still in 4th position. And here's the battle for 16th place. Leading the group, the silver car, Judith Forrow, Carl Powell behind her. Ray Arms, the yellow machine, went off in the early lap in Bruglio. There he is, the number 44 car, ahead of Paul O'Neill's copper-coloured car. And still the battle for the lead continues. Matt Kelly holding off what seems to be the quicker car of David Mason. Jamie Hunter slowly but surely coming back in touch. And that might be bad news for David Mason because he's bottled up behind the race leader. Jamie Hunter might be able to take advantage. Nick Carr in 4th place. Mark Hazel in 5th, Mark Humphrey in 6th. There's Vince Martin in 7th place, a number 16 machine. Mark Norden in 8th place, that multicoloured Harlequin kind of car. And still under braking. Oh my goodness me, contact between David Mason and the race leader Matt Kelly. Kelly just holding on to it. And Jamie Hunter now very close indeed as those two struggle to get out of the final corner and up the hill with some kind of momentum. 1, 2, 3, close as you like, and it's all starting to swing Jamie Hunter's way. On the back of the group, he has more opportunity than the others to do passing as opposed to being passed. 2 cars ahead of him, both worried about being passed. Jamie Hunter just looking for the gap, and he almost saw it there. Plunging down the hill and up over the curbs, through the chicane they go. Coming out onto the straight at Brabham's, up to the right-hander at Clark. And Jamie Hunter looking to the inside, makes the move nice and cleanly. David Mason losing second place, going down to third. This is the group behind them, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. And Matt Kelly now rushing away. Alistair Lyle losing a place now. Well, that's the reverse of what we've seen right from the very beginning. Alistair Lyle has been making up places all the way down. Now David Mason challenging the 26 car of Jamie Hunter for second. Matt Kelly starting to edge away a fraction. David Mason using all the curbing in his efforts to straighten out the track a little bit. Again riding with Dave Loudon, and he is catching Alistair Lyle. Alistair Lyle is definitely starting to go backwards, which means the car is slowing down. Loudon right behind him now. Ooh, and telltale traces of either steam or oil smoke or something coming from the back of the car, and it looks like he's got an overheating problem of some kind. I'm sure that's as a result of the big stoved-in front of the car, and Alistair Lyle may be in trouble now even to finish this race. Piers Johnson goes past Annie Templeton. She's going to lap down the last car in the field. The leaders streaming across the line. Lead trio leaving Nick Carr behind, and Mark Hazel still battling Mark Humphrey. Hazel on the inside line, not able to adopt the correct racing line, has to compromise his turn in. Let's see how he does down the hill. He's holding on there all right. The leaders still hard at it. Matt Kelly and Jamie Hunter. Matt Kelly's won on several different layouts of track. Jamie Hunter, first a winner at Silverstone. You couldn't imagine a more different circuit to the flat-out Silverstone level airfield circuit. Into the pits comes Alistair Lyle. That's his race definitely over with. And the team will have to work before the second race at Knockhill. Out of the final corner for the final time. Jamie Hunter having a run here. Matt Kelly not quick out of Taylor's at all. Trying to edge his rival over towards the grass. It's a drag race to the line. My goodness me, very close indeed. Well, it can't even be a tenth of a second in it. Matt Kelly at the line. He had Jamie Hunter's nose level with his front wheel. There was about a foot in it between them for first and second. Spitting distance between them, according to Jamie Hunter. So victory for Kelly, second for Hunter, third for David Mason, ahead of Carr, Hazel and Humphrey, but no points at all for Alistair Lyle or Warren Hughes.